Epic Action, a Star Wars Unlimited podcast. Your source for community building, tournament tips, deck building discussion, and all things Star Wars Unlimited.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Epic Action. I'm your host, Raul. Got Nick and Paul with me here today. How we doing, guys?
What's up, guys?
We're recovering from, Nick is recovering from Galactics. I've had a hectic week at work, but we're about, what, a week? This is the weekend after Galactics?
Nah, we're a week and a half. Basically, like 2 weeks.
So we're filming this a little bit separate from the event. So Nick has had some time to reflect on it and kind of think about, what we're going to talk about today. But basically, we're going to just review his experience with the Galactics. And then we might touch on a little bit about the PQ season that's coming up. So, Nick, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so basically it's the end of the journey. I know I still owe people a couple of videos on like how we got to this point, but I got to Galactics and I was super busy at work, so trying to like use as little PTO and whatnot as possible going into it. So I didn't get as much practice time as I would have liked. I know I went with like 3 different decks that I was possibly going to do. And I ended up back on a Slash Datafall just because I was like, I have the most practice.
Play the most. Yeah, it's something to say about like the best deck is the one you're best with, you're most comfortable with.
Yeah. I knew I was going to be poor into Hantu Blue. So, yeah, I mean, I can just go right into it. And then I'll kind of talk about Galactics more generally, but strong start. So I started 4-2 on day 1. So both my losses were to Hantu Blue. Round 1, Hantu Blue. Round 3, Hantu Blue. All the other decks, there certainly were. So I was getting to a point where, it's now the one thing we're supposed to start at 10. I want to say it got started maybe 11. So quite later into the day. If you're tracking people on the East Coast, I'm sure like Europe players, it was even worse. But it's now 2 o'clock on the East Coast. So by the time we were getting around 7, it's now like 7 o'clock at night in Vegas and going on like 10 on the East Coast. And I was pretty tired, not gonna lie. Made quite 2 horrible mistakes, and my opponent played great. So nothing, not trying to say anything against that. My opponent played great, but I lost that cat in Target Town. I had just beaten one the prior round, and then so that kind of put me at 3 losses right there at round 7. And at that point, they had already closed all the side events and everything, so there was no point in really leaving. Now, like I would have had to leave, I think, before that round. So I was really at a point where, and maybe even the round before that, I'd have to think back, but I was like, you needed to lose early. The first day, mass chaos. Nothing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, there's no other way to like spin it. It was mass chaos from FFG.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of tuning in, seeing like on the stream too, but like just in the Facebook groups, like people were kind of going off about the lines, and
I guess it was a 2-hour line for side events at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like I would have had to like get 3 losses early. Otherwise, there was no point. Like you might as well stay in and see if you can get the extra silver packs.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I did. I was trying to like, hey, at 4-2, I still thought I had a chance. I was playing pretty well, other than Hantu Blue, and really even that, I took both of those games to game 3.
Mm-hmm.
and we went into like 14, 15 resources. So I think one of them we went to time, and it was just, I mean, he had it, so it was not like I was gonna try to, make us both lost there. And then the other one, it is like every time I played an Avenger, it's a trench. Every single time.
Oof.
And then one time I played Avenger, I played Craving Power on it. And then I had another Craving Power on it, and I was just gonna wipe his whole board. But before I play the second Craving Power, he plays, he top decked Force Lightning. And the only Force Lightning in his deck, he top decks it that turn. And just, pays what, like 12, 13 resources to kill my 10 cost Avenger, or my 10 Avenger.
Yeah.
At that point.
I guess, yeah, because he's that aspect.
Yeah, it's that aspect. Yeah, so it's, whatever it was a lot. And I'm like, of course. I don't think I got to attack with Avenger once the entire turn. And I had it out 7 or 8 different times at least.
Sheesh.
Like I probably each one of my matches I was getting there.
Yeah.
So I will say that's the one that I was competitive in every single one of my matches. So after I lost to the Cat Tarkin Town, I was kind of like, all right, it's getting close to 9:00 over here. And I'm just exhausted. And I kind of like, well, now I'm out of going to day 2. And
yeah, because you had to have a X and 2 record, right, to move forward.
Yeah, you had to be 6 and 2. Or you had to do 6-0 and or 5-0 and 3. If you had all the somehow got intentional draws there. But yeah, so basically you had to be 6 and 2, which, like I said, I was on pace for it. And it doesn't matter when you lost in the round. There's no strength of schedule. If you were 6 and 2, you were 6 and 2. Which was nice because I know how many times that screwed me or screwed other people with just the strength of schedule part. So yeah, and then that last game, I was like, well, I'm here. I might as well try to get another silver pack. And I don't think I cared at that point. I was like, whatever. I think I mulliganed into a worse hand than I had to begin with. And it was an Anakin blue. So blue red 4-space. I think at that point I was just kind of done. I don't know that I was there. So ended up 4-4. Pretty poor finish in my mind, but I really more kicking myself on the Cad Tarkin Town, just because I had so thoroughly beat one right before that it was, I was like, oh, I can do this. I can. And that one, I made some really dumb mistakes, like who I took out, who I didn't. I left a giant Zuckuss on the board. I took Cat out instead. I was like, why did I just do that? That was really dumb. Because Zuckuss that had the Hot Shot Blaster on him, and Forlom was out. And so it was even worse than what Cad was doing. So I think I looked at Cad and I was like, oh, he's got 8 health. And as opposed to just looking at Zuckuss and oh yeah, but he's hitting for 9.
Really?
So
I've been there at the Battlegrounds PQ. think I won like pretty handily against the Sabine player. Then next round I get faced with Rick with his Sabine, and he like just wipes me because he knows how to play very well. So
Yeah.
that's the my other guy didn't, but like it was just night and day, same deck. Sometimes it
Yeah.
just happens that way. Cool.
I would say the draws were much worse on that game. There was one game where it's like I had a terrible first hand. I mulliganed. It was even worse. Like, and I was like, "Oh, that's game 2, and I've lost now." So, it happens with Data Vault.
Yep.
I haven't had it happen. Like, I feel like it's been pretty consistent with where we built it, but it petered out. Like, it's still a game of chance. I mean, when you're drawing 1 and 2, when you draw 2 and 3 costs on your like 8 resource turn, and you need something that's big, that's kind of you're out of luck there. And that can happen with 50 card deck too. So
yeah. All right, let's move on a little bit to the winning deck list. Paul, you want to talk about the 2 winners? We everyone kind of already knows what they are now, but why don't you walk us through the two top decks?
Talzin, what a deck. And the other winning deck is going to be that Kylo Tarkentown. Amazing, just well put together decks. I think that they really geared towards playing against Han Blue. They knew that Han Blue was going to be deep in the field, and they cooked in the best way I could think to put it. Really cooked against that and had strong play lines into other things. A lot of really well played from what I've seen on the stream. The Tarkentown deck with Kylo is a lot of fun. I'd been working on the Kylo Green, and nowhere near as cool as what it was when like you really see the Sith Holocron come down and put in work with the Mahdi, and it looks like it's a lot of fun to play. I haven't personally tested it out, but I have played against it quite a bit.
I've been playing it a lot. I took it to locals last week, and it was fun. I got the Mahdi combo off. I think I swung for like 15, and then ready to him with Mahdi, and we did it again and closed the game out.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, it has
turn 7. Let's win.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what happened. It has some very easy counters, like the Parliamentarian, a Rival's Fall, take those rule in your day. So like it's not, if you're ready for it, it's not hard to take out. But the deck it can pivot in other ways. Like as I've learned, it can go aggro. If you're not going to be able to get the huge, 1 turn swing kill, then you have other outs to win. But yeah, it was cool to see the 2 new leaders from the new set as the top, the top 1 and 2. I was watching the stream. I wanted to comment on, despite all the mess I know that was going on the site, I thought the people who were running the stream were doing a really good job. Like it felt like a professional, like sports, like cast, like you see from these major league, gaming events. I thought it was really cool how they were keeping track of, like, when you're watching the actual game, they were tracking what each player had in their hand. I'm not sure how they were doing that. I think they probably had a judge or something.
Another camera right there behind each player. They were
and so however they worked that out, that was awesome. It was
quick. Like one thing I could say is like they got those cards up on the screen quick, and I know it was just the text on the left and right sides, but I was thinking about the logistics of that, and I was like, wow. Just really, really well done. I don't know who's behind the scenes typing that out or pulling the names, and just it looks so smooth and clean so quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have their deck list on standby and able to drag and drop cards over there, something, but they were ready.
Is the deck list where I think we're on standby, and then we're just drag and drop it in there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I could have done without the subtitle on the card text. They had like the main title, the subtitle, and then the aspects and cost. It's just like I would have liked maybe a bigger like play screen.
Okay.
I know that was the main complaint from people at Galactics. They would have liked to see that actual like play display being larger. And less, because a lot of times when you have, like, for example, Anakin, it's a Sith cost and it's blue, you know exactly what card it is. You don't necessarily need the subtitle there to know. But yeah, I think it was a really well done stream overall. Other than that little minor complaint, I would say it was not even that big a deal. I think most people, but I would have said I would have liked to have seen them. I don't know if you had the picture of the screens there that were on either side of the stage.
Yeah, here I think.
And so the stage was depressed in, and there was two really large screens. You can kind of see it on the top right of that picture. I would have loved if they just displayed what was going on those screens. Instead, it was really just they're like Star Wars Unlimited logos or like character art all weekend. They're just really underutilized, I think, in my opinion. Because you have people gathering all over there, and they're all on their phones on the YouTube channel, watching the main video. And it's like, dude, like, you got 100 chairs sitting here trying to watch the main video right next to the stage. And right. I think the main video was on delay, just for anybody who was wondering. It was probably a 10-second delay anyway. So, it wasn't giving the players any kind of advantage. And like I said, they were so depressed and they couldn't see them. But it would have been nice to.
I mean, I get it.
But they had TVs, like, with playing it just around the corner.
Are you a little concerned at all, like, maybe some of the competition's in the crowd and can, like, see how you play? Like, I get it. The final match, stream it for everyone, right? Like, put it up on the TVs. But let's say you're in round 4 and you got 2 people on the stage and it's like, hey, man, I'm playing against that guy next. Like, let me pay attention to this match. Let me see what he's doing. Let me see his play style. And I can see maybe that being why.
I mean, that's only a problem on day 3.
Yeah.
Because you would have never known who your matchup is until that top 16. I think is when they started, pairing people like that.
Yeah. So
I mean, like I said, they had 2 TVs that were right next to that area. Everybody could have pulled out their phone and just watched it on YouTube. So that, to me, it just didn't make much of a difference. I think for me, it was more thinking about a fan experience. And like a game, like the vast majority of people are there just to like enjoy it. Like, maybe is there that small competitive advantage? Yeah, I guess, but not enough to like.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it was just how I set it up and didn't think too deep into it. But
because they didn't they had a couple other announcements and stuff going on the stage that like they didn't utilize those at all really well. I think it was just like Raul said, it was more of an afterthought. That could have been just improved on. But that was like probably the last thought in their mind and the things they needed to improve on. It was just something to know, because I remember being there for like the final 4 and we're all like just piled around like where the stage is, and like I said, there's like hundreds of people over there, but you can't see anything from where you're standing. That it would have been nice to have right on those big screens, because everybody had their phone.
Let's talk about these other pictures you got here. So you did some after dark activities.
Yeah, so I stayed at the Rio. So shout out to the Empire Strip's back. I know I sat next to 2 guys from the UK who were here for Galactics, and I'm not a huge burlesque fan on my own, but I had a really good time. It was well worth it. It was incredibly funny. And that was something I just didn't expect. Is not only did they kind of do a burlesque, but they kind of also like made fun of like while you're there. They kept it very lighthearted. It was not like they were trying to make it very like I don't know seedy or like serious. It was there was comedy within all the routines, and everybody like all the dancers and everything were having just a great time with it. That it made you kind of relax and have a great time.
Nice.
And they were like, "Oh, hype up the crowd, hype up the dancers, hype up everything. Scream, yell as loud as you want, as long as you don't say anything vulgar, as long as you don't throw anything on the stage." I will say, I don't know why R2 gets to throw money, but I can't. That was a little like, I should have thrown him out, but whatever. Celebrity gets privileges.
Yeah, so that's cool. They had that. Also you're in Vegas, a lot of shows to pick from, but that's a very appropriate being right there. Yeah, thematic.
Yeah,
we also
right in the hotel.
Yeah, that's all. So I know they travel around a lot, so I'm hoping they come back to DC area so I can check them out.
So this is the permanent show.
That's the resident
this
show.
is not the traveling show. They do both.
Yeah, awesome. And I see you had a picture of the life-size TIE fighter.
Yeah, so they had. This is unfortunately one of the things I didn't really get to do. Is they had life-size TIE fighter, life-size like X-wing. There were some other little different art pieces they had. You could go up, take pictures. It was really great. I think it was. I would have probably set up a little differently because it was so far away from everything. But when like first day, I was able to kind of get over there because it was where like a lot of the pin stations were. So you at least like I didn't necessarily get a chance to go take pictures with them because I was trying to rush around and grab pins all first day and the first morning. But yeah, I got to be right up there. It was really cool. I think that was a cool aspect to just bring in.
Did you complete your pin set?
I did, and I got the special super laser.
Nice.
Congrats.
I got that. I literally got that one on the way out. So I didn't realize, like, I'll save that. I'll save that piece for the second segment.
Just while we are on pins, I heard that they were like instantly gone. I was thinking, like, wow, Nick got one. Like, was he lucky? Was he early bird gets the worm? But I heard like everybody complained they couldn't get in there.
That's where I'm gonna go with things when we talk about it later. And to me, I think there's a lot of business improvements, and it's the first one, and like I think I've taken a bit of time to reflect on it, and I would say here's my overall assessment of Galactics. I had fun when I was doing things. I had fun with the events. I think they really tried to create new events that are super enjoyable. Super Sealed top amongst them. I thought that was super cool. I love drafting. I love doing all this little unique ways of playing Star Wars Online. I didn't get to play Trilogy, so that was one thing I think they were timing it, and they were kind of doing a tournament with it, so it was not like just on demand, which would have been, I think, nice to have. But yeah, so I didn't get to try it. I brought decks for it. I brought a Boba and a Jango, and I was going to play on 2 Blue. So I don't think any cards that were the same in each deck. So yeah, it would have been a rough go for any of my opponents.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, what do you guys think? Like, I know we talked about like different counters to like Kylo, and I know I beat 2 Mother Talismans I faced, and it was not. I thought I was going to struggle going into them, and I didn't.
So I've tried both decks out now, and I think the Towson deck is one, but I think the reason I won is because the pilot is really good. Like I kind of struggle with it, to be honest. I have, I think I need more practice with it, but it's not, the lines of play aren't as clear as with like the Kylo deck, which I've been it's just been pretty easy to clear their board, bring out Kylo.
For like my thing, a lot of it was the things that Towson tries to counter with all the minus stuff didn't really affect me because I didn't have much on board at times, So, and I'm removing your stuff, and so if I focused on removing your stuff, then your Towson is not super effective. But it definitely does matter with the pilot. I know one of my opponents, he kind of like, I noticed, it's like, why don't you flip the Towson, then flip her out, and then attack? And like, there was a couple of times where I think he didn't realize he could have like killed certain things just by optimizing his Towson and other units.
Right. I mean, on another note, like very big shout outs to these guys that, made this work and do really well with only 3 weeks of serious card rep time. Right. So like to the champion, to the runner up, I think Ian and Philip, great work to you guys, and what a play for your guys' teams.
Yeah, and do you think that the Kylo sticks around when it's not as surprising?
I do think the Kylo is going to stick around in the meta. I see it so frequently. I've played a lot into the.
Well, I guess the difference between seeing it frequently versus it being as competitive as it was, because there are significant counters to it.
I think people are going to still be cooking all PQ season. There's going to be a lot of diversity and some things that are going to be changing for sure. But
I mean, so
I think that Kylo is still going to be there.
So most of the people I talked to, they were like, all right, we teched everything trying to beat like Hot Blue and some of them other tiles and stuff. They weren't kind of teching towards that kind of matchup. And I think that took a lot more people by surprise. And I know, like, so the day one decks got released after day one. So all the day two players had a chance to look at all the day one winners and everything, and everybody's complaining and whatnot that none of the day two decks were there. So what they did is they opened up all the day two decks, which I think is good on them. Said, hey, we're gonna increase. You're gonna get a 3-minute like look at each other's decks. You can't take notes while you're looking at it, but you can take notes afterwards. And I know some of the people playing the Kylo, Bothan Network deck, were a little upset with that because they were very close hold on their deck and trying to catch people by surprise.
Right.
So my thoughts are just like when it all shakes out and people are like, oh yeah, that's a really good deck, and actually kind of teching against it, it's not going to do as well. Just initial thoughts, but I mean, that's what I'm at. Like,
I think people are going to sideboard against it. I don't see that they wouldn't. I can imagine anything that's in Vigilance is going to carry some Rival Souls in the sideboard, if not more than normal in the main board. And I think that, any color is going to be running 1 or 2 agreed parliamentarians in their sideboard right now.
Yeah, definitely couldn't do. I was even thinking about, like, just put 1 in the main deck and 2 in the sideboard.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's a lot of counters to Kylo. I think he's going to show up. I think Towson's still going to show up. I think these people are looking at these decks at one, and they are making adjustments to take on maybe a more diverse field. And you're going to see that over the PQ season. That's my personal thought. I think there's going to be some things that come out of the woodworks and cook and really surprise people. Cal Kestis being one of them. I think Cal Kestis is, people are out here really cooking with Cal. And you're going to see some stuff. I've been noticing that locals, Kit Fisto is starting to shine. I haven't had any issues. I've been winning every game at locals that I've been playing against. Those guys are great. But
I've been seeing some Kit Fisto stuff. I have not seen any decent decks with Cal.
Keep your eyes open. They're coming. I mean, like our play sample might be around our locals, but when we get to PQ here, I know in the next couple of weeks we're really going to be hitting it hard. Starting with Midlothian, and I know that Raul and I are both signed up for Baltimore. I don't know if you got signed up or not yet, Nick, but definitely should.
I gotta look at my schedule, but I've been out of it. Just like I haven't even played since I left.
I was gonna say, like, important to keep in mind, even though Galactics is such a big event, it's like the end of season 0. It's really the start of the season. Like, we still have all the PQs to come, so I think it's going to be very different next month or so. What we're seeing at the top tables is people, like you said, adjust and find new things. So looking forward to that.
What do you guys think about like the new point system?
I think it's great. Gives people a chance. Yeah.
I like it.
It's cool to track the scoreboard. They did exactly what I said they were going to do. They're going to have an open last chance qualifier. So, you're not a part of the Galactic Championship this year, like you were this year. It's just going to be, the same thing, essentially. And that's why I was like, you're not actually limiting it. And I would think it'd be poor form to actually limit it because of what you're trying to do overall with the Galactic Championship kind of be a celebration of your game. But yeah, I knew from the start, I was like, they're going to make a last chance qualifier. That makes sense. Why wouldn't you?
Right. And speaking of changes to how they're playing things, that they announced that some of the PQs are going to be sealed events, and that next year to be a Galactic Champion, you also have to be good at sealed because they're going to be including that in
and draft.
And draft, sorry. Yeah, draft, sealed, draft, same thing.
I don't think they've finalized what they're going to use.
They've not finalized it. So real quick, and talk about what Magic does. They basically do a first day of Swiss, second day is sealed, and then third day they go back to their decks and with a top cut. So that's likely what they'll end up doing.
Can I just say that's wild to me? That the sealed part, the draft, I can kind of understand. Because there's a lot of
draft. Sorry, I keep saying sealed, but I consider draft to be sealed as well. But I get what you're saying.
No, so the games and stuff on, it's sealed first, and then top cut is draft.
Yes.
So this is what I find wild about it. I mean, we've talked multiple times about card distribution and boxes being mapped and. They've luckily kind of solved that. I think there's a little bit of question on the current one, but not as bad as we were seeing during Shadows. So, you're adding sealed in there. I think we just got, for example, in the Super Sealed, me and the guy who shared the box, it was probably one of the worst boxes I've seen. And there was, I had even across the board, I had every leader to choose from, but I got one legendary, and it was a freaking Bendu. And I got a Bendu and a Yoda, but I didn't have any cards to play with Yoda. I tried to make an OB1 deck, and I just looked at it and I was like, I can't even come close to making this work. I don't feel
best part about sealed is that there's luck involved, right? You have to get the card pull. There might be some quality control issues. I'm hoping really that two fronts of this is that they will take the pool of cards if it's whether it's boxes or what, and shuffle them. Let's throw all the packs into a pile. Let's shuffle them up and then distribute out our 6-packs to everybody, right? So there's no mapping. There's no like, hey, you're gonna get this. It's truly random. That would be great.
That would be great.
Secondly,
however, they're just going to open the boxes, hand you 6 packs.
they might.
And that's literally because it's the easiest logistical thing for the store to do.
It is.
And they're just gonna like open as needed and hand 6 out. I mean, it's just human nature to do the easiest. Now, maybe when you get to like a regional or sector, they do something like that. But I like at your local store, I see that happening.
We'll see what happens with it. The second thing that I'm worried about with sealed PQs, and it was never a fear of mine until people at locals brought up that they've had experiences in Magic where it comes to sealed important events that you have people cheating. And like, I just hope that these people aren't sneaking rares in. It's going to get real questionable when you're dropping 2 Vaders in this Legends of the Force.
My thing with that is like you could cheat during seal too.
You can cheat anywhere.
Like
it's much easier to cheat with a pool of cards though that you're, limited to than it is.
Yeah, I think it's maybe more impactful, but like, what says I pull out a different sideboard from my, bag versus the sideboard I have.
I just wonder if there's any type of like quality, like control for that. And I was thinking about security and logistics for like,
I think somebody was
don't bring any cards with you is the basic thing for the interior event, right? Like we don't need to do pat downs, but don't bring any cards in with you. It's that simple. Like you can leave your trade binder out in the car, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, just bring a mat with you, and that's it. And just
mat and sleeves.
People have anything? Yeah, pack of sleeves. People have anything more than that. If they don't want to take it out to their car, boom. I think there was something somebody else was talking about, and this to me again goes back to that human nature of it's very, very time intensive of stamping cards. Like actually opening the packs, going into them and stamping them. So
that's interesting.
You know exactly these are the ones that are pulled.
Doesn't that like mess up the card's value at the end of it though? Not everybody's got a set of these cards like we do, Nick. I don't think everybody is a degenerate. And they're like,
this was not my suggestion. I don't think that it's a very good idea because I think it's a waste of time. But it's fun in Magic. I don't know.
I've never heard of that, but yeah, I mean, it's just from the feasibility standpoint, you're going to be wasting so much time.
Yeah. You gotta like literally do it the night before in most of these cases.
Yeah.
Like I don't see people doing that. Now I could see maybe they make everybody open their cards and stamp them as they're opening them. Maybe that's a time saver, but then again, why don't I slip a card in from my side and stamp it,
Yeah. I don't think a solution. I hope that's not what they come up with, because again, you're ruining the cards a little bit.
Yeah, like no stamping on cards. Like these people are going to want to take home whatever they pull, and they're going to keep them, and they may not have this full set, or maybe they pull a hyperspace foil Vader. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, like I'm not fucking stamping this hyperspace foil Vader.
Right. Yes. There's a multitude of reasons that I don't think that's a good idea, but that has been thrown out as a suggestion. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea at the bare minimum. Like I said, hard to keep security locks, keep honest people out. So I hope for the best and wish the best for our community. I don't think that a lot of people cheat, but I've just been It got brought up to my attention at a locals round in Newport News, and it was just an interesting thought. And I was like, man, you're right. And so I figured I'd talk about it a little bit.
People out in Newport News trying to cheat all the time, huh? So that's what I'm hearing.
Those Bendu Masters.
Yeah.
I've been having quite a bit of success. I'm happy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been playing against your deck, your Luke deck. And man, I'm having a hard time cracking it.
I just enjoy it, man. It's a good time.
Yeah. Right.
Sweet. So hard break here.
Yeah. Yeah, so why don't we just wrap this episode up, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna behind the scenes we're gonna film another episode and just have it ready to go.
Yeah.
So guys, thanks for joining us. Next episode we're gonna talk a little bit more in depth about Nick had some suggestions on how he thinks Galactics can improve. So we'll kind of go through like a couple step by step of what he thinks would make a good Galactics, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time.